Now I've just finished watching Shogun on Disney Plus, so I think it'd be really cool to flip a Japanese sample today. Now if you're not familiar with TrackLib, it's basically like online crate digging. They have thousands of different tracks from different artists that you can legally sample. Something I specifically like are these collections here. So they got ready to flip like Bollywood, retro soul and funk. They have these producer collections like Just Blaze and Frank Dukes. And they also have these inspired collections. So if you're trying to make a type beat with say 21 Savage in mind, then they have a playlist of tracks here that would fit that vibe. I'm not sponsored by TrackLib, it's just genuinely a service I use a lot. So I'm just going to come over to genres and I'm just going to scroll down to this folk and world. I'm just going to find the Japanese section. And now I'm just going to flick for a few tracks and see if I can find something that I want. Now I can already see that I'm not going to want this first one because it's in a major scale. And I tend to really stick to minor scales to make kind of darker music. So let's try this one out, it's in G minor. Don't think that's really going to suit the vibe of what I want today. Maybe this one, this is kind of fire. Got like a children's choir in here. This could maybe sound nuts. Something I do like about TrackLib is you can try them out with beats as well. So let's try classic bap. Set that to 4 bars and see how this intro sounds on a beat. That could definitely be something I could use. It's got some fire bits here at the end as well. That's just instrumentation. I've just brought the track here into Ableton. Straight away, it's just dropped watermarkers on it. Now, the first thing I want to do is I know I want to use this intro section, is just check that it loops fine at 4 bars. And then what I usually like to do is listen to the full sample and just select any sections that I might want to use. So I'm thinking these ones here at the end. I'm just going to split this there. I think I just want to use the sections without the choir in, as the choir doesn't really suit the style of beat that I want to make. So we'll just split the intro off here and get rid of the choir. Then we'll just bring this over. So what I'm thinking is this first 4 bars here could be the chorus. That could lead into this section here. Like a bit more empty for the verse section. And then maybe we could use this section here as a B section in the verse. Got a little bit more energy into it with the higher pitched strings. Once again, I'm just going to split this. I think if we just repeat it like this, then really I just want to go in and chop this and kind of make it a little bit more repetitive. So I'm just going to take this section here, put it here and here. We could just repeat that over and that'll be our chorus section. I'm just going to consolidate all that together. So the first thing I really want to do is play with the scale. Let's try taking it down a few. I think we could even go more than that, maybe 8 or 9. I'm thinking here, -7. Now changing the pitch has just made a little artifact that I want to get rid of. I'm just going to start by rolling off the low end. Now I can hear it's something in the high pitch frequencies. So I'm just going to solo the band here. And I'm just going to set this to be in a low pass. Just these little bits here that I want to cut out. Sounds a lot cleaner now. Okay, so now that we've got this, let's add some drums. Now, of course, all the drums I'm going to be using here are from the Keep It 500 kit, the free kit, and the link is in the description down below. I'm going to start with this pulse snare. It's kind of my go-to at the moment. Next, I'm just going to grab my other go-to. It's this Odyssey kick. I use it on all kinds of beats. Just turn the snare down a little bit first. And just the sample as well. Maybe at the end I'll just swap the snare here for a kick. Just going to grab this Shogun hi-hat. We'll just put that as a really simple pattern. Just turn the velocity down on this second one. We'll just copy that all the way over. And then we're just going to randomize them by a small amount. Maybe about 20. And then let's grab all of these drums. We're just going to hit humanize. This will help give it a bit more kind of natural timings and swing and groove. I just want to layer that hi-hat with another one. So I'm just going to grab this Nebula hi-hat and we'll just place this every second hit. We'll just randomize these as well. Now I'm not going to humanize these as I kind of want it to contrast the already humanized ones, which will create even more groove. In fact, I might just have that every 4. Yeah, I'm feeling that. I'm just going to place down this open hat. Now I'm just going to put this after the 4th snare. We'll just repeat that all the way along. Just gives a little bit of variation to the pattern. I think it'll just suit the beat better if I transpose it down a little bit. As you can see, that just fits the overall tone of the track a little bit better. So next I need to add a bass line, and of course I've come into Contact and gone to the Scarby Rickenbacker bass. Pretty much my go-to for boom bap beats. Kept it really simple. Drop it down here. And then back to the same pattern. And then just added a kind of riff here at the end. Just make these a little bit more realistic and randomize them by a little bit. And we're just going to hit humanize as well. Next, I just want to add a little bit more percussion, just give it a little bit more bounce. So I'm going to add this crash. Just put it here at the start like I do on a lot of my beats. And we'll put it at the start of the second 4-bar pattern. And then we'll just put it on some of these kicks here at the end as well. Next, I think I want to add a ride cymbal. Now, I don't actually have one in my Keep It 500 kit. I'm just going to come to splice. So the goal here is just to create a little bit more bounce. So I think I can make the drums have a bit more punch in the low end. So I'm just going to add some R bass. Now, it's important with R bass that you set it to the frequency that's within the scale. So something I like to do is look at this music note to frequency chart. Now the main note that I'm using here in the bass is D. So we're just going to go along and see where they are. So there's 36.71 or 73.42. Now I really like my kicks to hit lower than my bass line. So I'm going to go for 36. I'm just going to bring the intensity all the way down. Now I'm just going to solo the drums and bring it back up to where I feel it's needed. I think we could maybe add some string counter melodies here. Kept this really simple here. Let's just humanize them and just copy these over. Just a little bit of reverb on these as well. And then just to move them around in the stereo field, just a little pan shaping. Just going to bring the mix down a little bit though. Right, so now we've got this chorus section fleshed out, we can start on the verses. So I'm thinking if we just start with this part here, bring that over. Let's just copy that over. But then let's make it more repetitive. So maybe we could double this part over here. Let's just join these. That should get rid of any of the little clicks and pops in between the sections. There's a slight one there, but I'm not worrying about it too much as we've got a snare hit at the end of the drum pattern. So let's just see how that sounds with the drums. As you can hear, that's a lot more empty for the verse. And the snare kind of masks that little click and pop we have perfectly. Maybe for the B section, we could use this part, which is a little bit more built up heading back into the chorus. So if we do the same with this, we just copy it over and then we just make it a little bit more repetitive again. Adds a little bit more energy in, but not as much as the chorus section. Obviously, we need to flesh out the verse a bit more so that the transitions are smooth. In order to do that, I'm just going to separate all my drums. So the easiest way to separate your drums from the drum rack is just to right click and hit extract chains. This just brings all the drums onto their own mixer channel. And then it gives you separate channels and patterns in arrangement view. I then like to regroup these and label the group as drums. So on this beat, I actually think I want to have the verse come in first and then the chorus section. Maybe we could find one of these sections and use it as an intro. Maybe this one here that we haven't used yet. Now, if we had a little drum fill, we could make that transition smoother. I think that works nicely. We could make it even smoother with a reverse crash. I think we could probably remove this ride cymbal here. Take the second crash out as well. We could bring this second hat only in on this section and just create a small break here. And I think we could probably bring the bass line back. I think we could probably bring the piano over as well. think I could take this bass down another octave. I think that's better, sounds a bit grimier now. Keep the bass line going for the second half of this. And then at this point here, I just want to break it down to go into the chorus section. So we could bring the ride back in here. I think we could probably make a break in the kicks, possibly here. Getting confused between these two because they're the same color. I'm just going to change that. Hit assign track color to clips. I'm just going to rename this one as piano. It was actually the bass section I meant to bring back here. I think here we can take this open hat back out, take the second hat out, also take the main hat out. Let's just do a little break in the snare. Maybe take the kicks out. Maybe keep the kicks in and take the snare out actually. Changed my mind so much when making beats. We could possibly bring this reverse crash over as well. Or maybe we could have a break in the drums and bring this over too. I think that works. Maybe break this down at the end of the chorus. Just these simple little breaks and things make all the difference on the structure. In fact, maybe to completely break it down here. I think that sounds smoother now. Okay, so now we have the bulk of the structure done. I think I could just copy this over here, copy it over one more time, and then maybe here at the end we could use the end section of the actual sample just to lead us out for the outro. I think it'll actually be a bit smoother if we copy this over. And then on this repeat of the chorus, we just break it down more. Let's take the kick out right from here, take the crash out right from here. Second hat can come completely out. The ride can come completely out as well, and the open hat. Hat can come all the way back to here. Bass line can come back to here as well. But let's take the bass line out completely. Take this back out here. Bring this down as well. So I've gone ahead and just refined the structure, changed some levels, done a small amount of EQ and panning. Here's the final beat. So we just start off with the sample here on its own. This isn't what I think of when I think of stereotypical Japanese music, as I usually think of a koto. I think they sound fire though. Drum filling into the verse here. Just a small break in the hi-hat here. Bring the bass line in. Break in the kick drum here. You just bring the ride cymbal and some extra percussion back in. Break this section down, take the snare out. Bring the snare back briefly before we fully break it down. Then we got the kind of drum fill into the chorus. Chorus section's a little bit more full, there's a bit more in the sample. And we got the extra strings as well. I think this one would sound crazy for an underground boom bap kind of artist. And then we just repeat it over. I think this one came out crazy. If you want to see me do a different country sample into an underground boom bap beat, let me know in the comments down below. Until next time, I've been SK. Peace.